Okay, good morning, everyone. So before we proceed, we'll first take a quick recap whatever we have done today. So let us start. The last topic which we have seen was your laser cutting. So whenever I talk about laser cutting, it is nothing but a machine that will help you to cut different types of materials. That can be your wood, your acrylic, your foam, metals or steels, any type of material which is very heavy duty kind and which are the part of industrial units, you can cut using the laser cutting. Okay, so basically whenever you want to cut this material, it uses a lasers that will help you to slice the materials. So when we talk about laser cutting, it is always referred as a subtracting process. Why it is called as subtracting? Because here you will start with more materials initially, and later on at each step you're going to cut away the material which you don't need. So that is why it is called as subtractive manufacturing, or you can say subtractive process. So basically when I talk about laser cutting, it actually starts by directing your laser beam. There is a nozzle, okay, and with that nozzle you have to start your laser beam over your material, and with the combination of your heat and pressure, the cutting action will take place. So with this cutting action, your material whatever is there, it will either melted or it can be vaporized or it is burned, and accordingly you can get a perfect edge whatever you want to cut with the help of your laser. So whenever I talk about laser cutting, the important aspect here is your size of the bed, because your all the materials are going to be insulated into the bed which will hold your material, and then over it your laser beams will be there which will help you to cut the material. So it is very much important that your bed size has to be as per the material which you are going to insert. So according to your size, according to your material which you're going to cut, you have to decide the machine which you're going to use. So here I have taken an example of a laser cutting machine, that is your JQ1630, and basically this is a machine for cutting the fabrics. So depending on your requirement, whatever you want, you have to select the laser cutting machine. So if you want to cut a materials like steel or aluminum, then you will have a different set of machine. So according to your requirement, you are going to get different machines. So whenever I talk about bed, it has two axis mechanism. So when I talk about two axis mechanism, here means there is something called as mirror and there is a lens. Okay, so this mirror and lens help you to direct the laser beam to correctly cut the material. Okay, so with this mirror and lens, you know accurate position, or you can say location where you have to make the cutting with the help of a laser beam. Okay, let's move to the next. So whenever you are selecting a laser cutting machine, you have to take care of two characteristics. The very first is size of the bed. Size of the bed is very much important because whatever you're going to cut, any type of material, or you can say a sheet of the material, you're going to place this sheet of the material into the bed, okay, and then the laser beam will be there over it and the material will be cut off. So the size of the bed is very much important. So as per your requirement, you have to select the laser machine cutting machine, and first you have to see the size of the bed, that whatever machine you are whatever material you are intended to cut, whether it will fit into the bed or not, because this is an important element which will hold your material and that will help you to cut the material. So this is very much important, that is your size of the bed. So first characteristic which you have to always look into is your size of the bed. Let's look to the next. Next is the power of laser. Power of laser is very much important because you are going to cut industrial units material. So when you're cutting industrial unit material like your steel, your aluminum, the laser power has to be very strong. It has to be robust because you are going to cut this material. Here in the example, you can see over your screen that the Wisely logo is being cut using a laser cutting. So it is very much important that your laser power has to be very much good, because that will be help you to correctly cut the material in accuracy, or you can say in proper sizes or precision. So depending on what you are trying to create, we can cut all sorts of different material in laser cutter. So you have to decide that what you have to look for. Okay, so if you want to cut material, you can also cut the material with the help of a laser cutting. Okay, so basically the advantages of laser cutter at the end of the day, we can say is that because of the bed which is flat in nature, you can easily set the material and you can cut with accuracy. So the material will not get bent or it will not get twisted, because the surface where you are placing your material is a flat, so it helps you to cut precisely over a laser beam. Second advantage can be the advantage, we can say that the cutting time can be decreased, because the cutting process is very much easy. So the cutting time is increased because more is your flat surface, it is easy for you to cut with accuracy. Okay, so this is important from exam point of view, laser cutting. So two characteristics you have to always take care of, that is size of the bed and the power of laser. Let's move to the next. Next was the software. So when I talk about software, what are the different software options that are available for us, like is your graphic files which are available to us to design the laser, whatever you're going to have your laser design, or whatever you want to have your laser cutting uh, uh, map, you can say, you can design using some of the graphic files. So basically these are the softwares which will help you to provide the design across your machines, because initially when you start with the cutting, you're not directly going to start with the cutting. First you have to make the soft copy, first you're going to make the graphic files. Okay, what do you want to cut? It can be logo, it can be text. So first you're going to make a graphic file, then you will verify it with one who is the one who has given you order, and then you will start with the actual process, that is cutting it over the material. So initially when you are starting with designing of this graphic files, the very first thing which you have to design here is with the CAD, that is your computer aided design. So first you're going to design over here, you are going to verify it, and once it is verified, then only you're going to move for the actual process, that is cutting that particular logo, text, whatever it can be, over the material. Okay, so whenever we talk about different design formats, so there are two types of formats which are always there, we know that, that is your bitmap and vector. So when I talk about bitmap, these are something which doesn't comes with good pixel quality. So if you try to go in much detail, or if you try to go zooming it, you can see there is jaggedness. Okay, you cannot see that it's clear. However, if you are saving your graphic files in vector file format, it is very much detailed, and very, if you, even if you try to zoom it, it will give you a detailing of it, you can't see jagged edges. The reason is why the vector images use your lines, it uses straight shapes. Okay, so the detailing will be more, the quality of the graphic files will be more. So it is always suggested that after designing of your graphic files, you should always save your content, or whatever is your data which is your graphic type, should be in the file format, that is vector. So over your screens, you can see that there are many options, software options which are available, like Autodesk, Adobe, GIMP, CorelDRAW, Microsoft, SketchUp, SolidWorks, Photoshop, AutoFusion 360. So these are so many options that are available that will really help you to design your software part, what is you're going to cut over the material. But the most commonly used is CorelDRAW, because it is very user friendly, so people always opt for this as an option. Second, which is very much commonly used, is your Autodesk. Okay, so Autodesk and Autodesk Fusion 360, these are the two versions which helps you to do the design the graphic files for your laser cutting. Okay, let's move to the next. Next is your hinges and joints. So when I talk about hinges and joints, whenever you are using a laser cutter to create 3D objects from flat materials, then you can use it. Okay, now here the first is your hinges and joints. So you can create hinges and joints, you can create 3D objects from all the flat materials. So the first is your lattice or living hinges. So basically when I talk about lattice and living hinges, you can see that this is something a flexible material. Okay, basically this is introduced to have some curves in your design. So whenever you want to have curves in your design, when you want to close them, you want a structure which will hold that. So you can use your hinges and joints. So there are series of lines which you can see, there are cut off and there are perpendicular in the direction. So this is cut in the reason because there should be flexibility. So if you are keeping your space and you are cutting in that way, the curves are there and you can is flexible for you to hold any material. So whenever you want to have your material to be bent after it is cut, so you can place this with the hinges or with the joints. Okay, so depending on the number of the cuts, you can come up with the flexibility. So basically these are used to hold the material which are you can bend it, you can cut it off with the flexibility, that is your hinges and joints. Okay. Next is your elastic clips. So when I talk about elastic clips, this is also another way which can help you to hold your material. Okay. So basically this works over a mechanism that is your tenon and mortise. So tenon and mortise is nothing but a joint when you are joining like two sheets, and both of this material has to be in the 90 degrees. You can see in the diagram there is one hollow structure and there is something that is inserted into that hollow structure. Okay. So both of your sheets has to be placed at 90 degrees. You can see. So if you want them to uh, clip it, then you can clip with the using of your elastic clips. Okay. So to hold the different structure of the tenon on mortise, these clips are used. Basically, they are help you to tighten your tenon sheets so that you don't need any glue or you don't need any fixing. So these are the clips which works in your tenon and mortise to make the tenon hold. Okay. Next is your bolted tenon and T-joints. Okay. So when I talk about bolted tenon and T-joints, this is, you can say, a modified version of the mortise and T-joint. Okay. Wherein you can join by adding a T or cross shaped slots to the tenon sheet. Okay. You can also have a crossbar of T. So in the diagram, you can see there is a first diagram, there is a T kind of structure. And in the second diagram, you have placed a bolt through the hole in the mortise sheet. Okay. So this is the two structure, that is T slot. So when you are making a T kind of structure and you are placing it, that is called as T joint or T cross. And next is your bolt, wherein you are placing a bolt between your structure of your mortise sheet, that is your T joint. So in both the cases, you can see there is a T structure. First is your complete T and second is your half T. You can just see the upper part of it. Okay. So these are the different things which are designed using your laser cutting. So whenever you're using a laser cutting over the flat surface, you want to make 3D objects from your materials, then you can use laser cutter. And these are the three things which are actually made with the help of the laser cutters. So you have actually cut your materials and made a 3D objects out of it. Okay, let's move to the next topic, that is your 3D printing. So when we talk about 3D printing, the word itself tells its meaning. You are going to create three-dimensional objects. Okay, so these three-dimensional objects are made, and there are the different options, you can say different techniques which helps you to do the 3D printing. So basically when you start with the process of 3D printing, you have to make sure that you have a CAD files with you. Okay, so this CAD files is nothing but the design which you intend to print. Okay, whatever you want to do 3D printing, like for example, here you have an example that is 3D written here. So first this 3D has to be written in your CAD files, because whenever you talk about the printing machines, they understand only one file. Okay, they understand only one language, that is your CAD files. So whatever you want to have 3D printing, first you have to make sure that you are please drawing that over your CAD files, and once it is done, then you can start with the printing process. So when we talk about 3D printing, you have to always consider that with the word itself telling its meaning. So 3D printing means what? You're going to build layer by layer. First will be your layer 1, that will be your layer 2, layer 3, and finally we are going to come with together a model. So everything will be a layer by layer. Every object will be placed at layer 1. Then there is another object which is placed on layer 2, and then third layer, that is a 3D printing. There will be 3 layers here. Okay. So basically, when we talk about 3D printing, it is referred as additive manufacturing. Okay, why it is called as additive? Because whenever you are starting with, initially you are starting with nothing, but you are adding layers or you are adding materials to build up the model. So that is why it is called as additive. Remember, laser printer is your subtractive process, wherein you will start with so much of material and at each step it will be reduced. Okay, where in a contrast to it, we have a 3D printing which is additive, where you will start with nothing, but at each step or each layer you are going to keep adding the material. Okay, so that is your 3D printing. So when we talk about 3D printing, it is very much important that what thickness you want, depending on the choices, depending on the user preferences. The thickness can be depending on whatever you want. It can be as thick as the size which you want, or it can be lesser thickened. So it depends that what you want. So accordingly, you have to set the size into the computer memories which will make the structure thick. So the layer 1 will be more thicker if you want a 3D layer, third layer to be very thick in size. Okay. So let us start. What are the types of 3D printing? So when we talk about size of three types of 3D printing, the very first type is FFF. Okay, where it stands for fused filament fabrication. Okay, so fused filament fabrication means what? The material, whatever it is fused into it, and then it is fabricated. Okay. So fused filament fabrication, at times it is also called as fused deposition modeling. Okay. So it is adaptive process. Why it is adaptive process? The reason it is a part of 3D printing, and 3D printing initially says that when we start with nothing, and slowly, gradually, at each step, at each layer, we start adding the material, and the resultant model is developed. Okay. So when I talk about fused filament technique, here also the same concept applies here, that each step or at each layer, your material is being added. So the material here is added is a molten plastic. Okay. Every type will have a different material which will be added. So you have to always remember that in what type which material is added up. So here the material which is added up is a molten plastic that will help you to create a model or a product. So basically, it works by extruding your manufacturing process where all your raw plastics are melted, okay, and the new plastic is being created. Okay, so in the diagram you can see there is a material which is coming out from the heated nozzle, and that nozzle can be moved either horizontally or vertically by controlling your computer as you want your flow of your filament through the nozzle. So initially the first step is what? Plastic filament. Okay. Second is this filament. Filament here refers to what? The material. Okay. Don't get confused. What is it? This filament is then placed into your printing heads. Okay. This printing heads will do what? They will molten the plastic. Okay. They will make the plastic melt at the heat of 230 degrees Celsius, and then from that nozzle a 3D object is created. So initially there is a 3D printing bed. Printing bed will help you to hold your objects whichever you are printing. Okay. So the first is your fused filament fabrication. So in your fused filament fabrication, you have to make sure that material which you are going to use here is your molten plastic. So whatever plastics which are there, which are not in use, that can be recycled, that can be melted, and with that you can create another set of material. Okay. So that is your fused filament fabrication. Let's move to the next. Second is your laser sintering. Okay. So this is also at times called as selective laser sintering. Okay. So here, whatever you want to print, okay, or whatever you want to have as an output, it takes input in a form of powder based. So you can say it is a powder based 3D technology, and it uses laser to fuse your materials into the final part. Okay. So there is a laser which traces the cross section of your CAD designs into the material, and then at each step it will build your platform. Okay. So you can see in the diagram like stage one, here you can see there is a stage one where you will just have your inputs in the powder form. Okay. Then with the help of the roller, help of the heat, there will be processing takes place, and over your powder bed you can see. So there are two diagrams here, there are two cube here where your movement is being made. Okay. So this is your laser. Basically it uses for your industrial machines, and it can print any material which comes in the powder form, and that can be melted by the laser. Okay. So basically this technique is used to print your aluminum. Okay. Or you can say I guess titanium, and as easy as you're printing your nylons. So anything whichever is to be inserted, it has to be in the powdered form. Okay. And this powdered form will be taken by your lasers. Okay. And this lasers will be helping you to print any material, okay, which can be melted easily by the laser. So that is your laser sintering. Let's move to the next. Next is the powder bed. Okay. Just like your laser sintering, the powder beds also starts with a raw material which will be in a powdered form. But the difference between here is that in laser sintering, you are fusing it with a laser. Okay. In the diagram, you must have seen there was a laser in the laser sintering. Okay. But here you are dispensing it by a print head. You can see there is a print head here. That is a laser electron beam. Let me mark it out. Okay, I have made a tick here. You can see there is a laser electron beam. So there is something called as a structure, that is a printing head. Okay, from where your you can say your printer your material is coming out. Okay, with this powder form you can have a colorful 3D models. Okay, because it is a structure like a printing head, so you can have different colors of powder, and with that different colors of powder you can create different 3D models. Okay, so once your model is ready after the printing process, okay, you don't need to do any post processing, because there is already there hardening solutions into your powder, which will automatically harden the solution. Okay, the advantage of this type of powder bed, or you can say this technique, is that you can actually mix them with any material pigment, or you can say you can mix with any color, and you can have a colorful materials into it. Okay, so here you can take you can see that there is a powder roller where the powdered form whatever material you want to design, its powder will be loaded here. Okay, there is something called as laser electron beam, wherein whatever powder is there, it will be coming out of it, and then the structure will be correct designed, or resulting model will be ready. Okay, in this electron beam, which has a printing head kind of thing, you can mix it with different colorful materials, so that you can have colorful models. Like you can have different colors of plastic, you can have different colors of material. All the light materials which are colorful can be done with the help of a powder bed. Okay, let's move to the next. Next we have your laminated object manufacturing. Okay, so laminated object manufacturing, the word itself, it's telling its meaning, the object will be laminated. Okay, so this is also a method of 3D printing, where you can have your layers of plastics or papers that are fused, or you can say laminated. Because it is laminated here, we will refer this as laminate always. So here whatever it is laminated, it is actually layers of plastic or paper that are together cut, okay, into desired shape, using your heat and pressure over your computer control lasers or blade. Okay, this is actually, again, you can say another method which can produce full color prints. So whenever you want to have a full color prints, you want to have a lamination of different colors, you can go with this type of printing process. Okay, basically at initial level, your laminated object manufacturing uses your traditional paper printing as a part of the process, and at each step, it builds up the model by laminating your individual sheets of paper together. Okay, so again, it is an adaptive process because it is a part of 3D printing. You will start with nothing, but at each step, you are going to add material and you are going to build the model. So here, the material which you are going to add is nothing but the individual sheets of the paper. Okay, which will be printed in whatever colors you want, which will be cut into whatever you want, and you can come up with different lamination sheets. Okay, so just remember that whenever you want to have a lamination sheets, the initial process will be your paper. Okay, which will take layers of plastic or paper which are laminated together using your heat and pressure, and then they are cutted with the help of your lasers or blade. Okay, so remember here, the material which is used here is your plastic, paper, or you can say individual sheets. Okay, so in this diagram you can see there is a mirror, there is a laser. Okay, there is a heated roller, the sheets are inserted, the platform here is just platform where your sheets are there. So here you're going to insert your individual sheets. Okay, individual paper sheets along with the plastic. Okay, because you want laminated sheets, so there will be paper along with the layers of the plastic, and this together are going to be laminated with the heat and pressure, and you're going to get the output. Okay, so take up roll is there, supply roll is there. So take up roll will initially take your sheets. Okay, supply roll will what, it will laminate your plastic sheets and paper together, and then you will get the output. Okay, so that is your laminated object manufacturing. Let's move to the next. Next is your stereolithography. Okay, this is also again a method which you use to create your 3D printed objects. So basically, when I talk about stereolithography, it uses an apparatus that is called a stereolithograph. Okay, and basically here it uses your UV laser to trace the pattern for each layer. Okay, so here you're going to like use UV rays. Okay, so when we talk about stereolithography, it comes with this working. So what is the working? First you have, there is a tank which will be filled with your liquids. Okay, liquid photopolymer. This is the liquid resin which actually contains liquid plastic. Okay, next you have a platform that is immersed into your tank. So this platform is lowered into the tank and can move up and down according to the printing process. So according to the printing process, the material will be moved up and down. Okay, here you're going to use UV, your, or you can say ultraviolet laser, which will help you to do the printing process. Okay, there is a computer interface again that will help you to manage both the platforms and the laser movements. Okay, so you can see in the diagram there is an XY scanning of the mirror, that is horizontal and vertical scanning. There is a laser source. Okay, there is a resin tank where your material will be immersed. Okay, UV curable resin is nothing but where your UV rays are going to use, where you will trace the material. Okay, according to that, the layer and layer it will be traced and the platform will keep on moving depending on your material. Okay, if you want to move your material horizontally, you can move your material vertically. So that all can be done with your movable build platform. So this is called as stereolithography. At times there is also apparatus that is called as stereolithograph, which is used basically that converts your liquid class plastic into solid objects. So remember here, the input here will be your plastic. Okay, a liquid plastic which will be converted into the solid objects. Okay, next is digital light processing. Okay, so digital light processing, here the word itself it's telling its meaning. So when I talk about digital light processing, it is going to take light as input. Okay, so along with the light there is a liquid which will help together to make your solid parts, or you can say 3D objects. So this actually uses some metal powders, or you can say some resins is nothing but a small materials which is there. Okay, so main component of DLP is your 3D printer. Okay, because there is a 3D printer which is used, and that 3D printer consists of three things. As per the diagram, you can see first is your digital light projector screen. Okay, that is DMD as per the diagram. Okay, then you have a resin tank which you can see there, that is nothing but a vat. Then there is a build plate and there is an elevator for build plate. Okay, why there we have a build plate here? Because at the each step you are going to add materials and you are going to design. Okay, so the very first step, the digital light projector will do what? It becomes a light source for your DLP 3D printer. So it is a component that is made up of different, you can say, mirrors. You can see there is a lens and there is a light source. So it is made up of different mirrors, and this is basically used for navigating the light beam which is going to be come from a digital light projectors, because there is a digital light projector. So with the help of the light, you are going to develop the object. Okay, or develop the model. Okay, next we have a resin tank. So this resin tank is nothing but you can see a transparent bottom. So basically it is just used, whatever light you are projecting, it reaches the resin and the model is being developed. So it is basically used for that. Next, there is something called as the surface, okay, where the printing objects are stick to it during the printing. That is nothing but the z-axis you can see over the diagram. So it is self-explanatory. So whenever your model is ready, okay, the models are built during the printing process, that the model will be placed over that building platform. Okay, so digital light processing, you have to remember here that here it is going to use light. Okay, and liquid resin. Liquid resin is nothing but a liquid material to build the solid parts or products of 3D printing. Okay, so here the light technologies are used. There are different metal powders are used in your resins. So in your resin tank there will be different metal powders. With help of that you are going to design the product. Okay, so this was your DLP, digital light processing. Okay, so these are your all your methods. We'll take a quick recap of the same because it is very much important. So when we talk about 3D printing, it helps you to design 3D objects or 3D, you can say solid objects. So initially when you are starting with 3D printing, you have to make sure that whatever design you want to have, it is first ready in your CAD files, because this is only the language, or you can say the file type, which is understandable by your printing machines. So all your design has to be ready in the CAD files. Once it is ready, then only you are going to start with the actual process, that is building your 3D models. So here in your, whenever you're building your 3D models, it is always done layer by layer. There can be 3 layers, or there can be n number of the layer depending on the thickness. If there are more than 3 layers, then at each layer you're going to combine it and you're going to have it all together. There is going to have 3 layers only. Okay, so it is called as adaptive process. The reason why, because here you are going to add materials at each step, and then your model is being created. So that is why it is called as adaptive process. Okay, so in 3D printing there are different types, where different materials are insulated, or you can say immersed, and the printing takes place. Okay, the very first is your triple F, that is your fused filament fabrication. So always remember, when I talk about fused filament fabrication, it uses molten plastic as an input, and with that molten plastic, it helps you to create your 3D object, which will be of type plastic. So any of your plastic which is there, which is recycled or which is waste, you can use this, you can recycle them using this FFF material, and you can create a new 3D plastic object. Okay, so important point here always is that this whatever types are there, what are they using as a material to create the 3D objects. So in your fused filament fabrication, to create the 3D printed objects, we are going to use a molten plastic. So this is nothing but a raw plastic which is melted, and using that you are going to design a new set of plastic. Okay, so there is a nozzle there. You can see the nozzle, which can be either move horizontally or which can be either move vertically. Okay, so this molten plastic is melted at 230 degrees. Okay, and which will help you to design a new 3D object. Next is your laser sintering. Okay, so laser sintering is the technique where it is going to use lasers, okay, to design, or you can the resultant model. So whatever is being inserted into it, you have to make sure that whatever is the material, it has to be in the powder form, because laser sintering is the powder form technology. Okay, powder based technology, and basically it uses lasers to fuse, or you can say insert your material layers into your laser machines. So again, it is building part by part. So initially when you are starting with a powder form. Okay, then there is a roller, there is a heat. With help of that, you are going to design your model, and then at the end of it, you will get a resultant model. Okay, next is your powder bed. Laser sintering and powder bed are both and the same. The only the difference is that when I talk about laser sintering, okay, here you have, there you have a structure like a glue. Okay, but here you have a structure that is like a printing head, and here in this again, your the materials which can be there will be of type powder only, but you can have different colors into it. So you can easily add this powdered material with other filaments, and you can come up with colorful prints. So if you want colorful plastic, any material if you want in colorful, then you can insert this powdered material along with different colored filaments, or you can say fragments, and you can come up with different colored models. Okay, so there is not much difference between laser sintering, powder bed, only the structure, how it is immersing. In laser sintering, you have something like a glue kind of a structure. Here you have a printing head. Okay, you can see the laser electronic bin, that is look like a printing head, just like a printers. Okay, next is your laminated object manufacturing. So again, this is another type of 3D printing process. So here you are going to take the layers of your plastic or a papers, you can say. Okay, and they are laminated together using a heat and pressure, and then you are cutting them into the desired shape, whatever you want, with the help of your computer controlled laser or blade. Okay, again in this method, you can also produce full color prints as well, depending on what type of laminated sheets you want. Mostly laminated sheets which are used by everyone is a white color, so less we go for the colors, but you can go if you want that. Okay, so basically it will use your traditional papers or printing as a part of the process, and in each step, whenever it is developing the model, all the individual sheets which you are inserting into the sheet materials can be print and can be laminated at the each step. Okay, so that is your laminated object manufacturing. Material here which is used is your plastic or paper. Okay, remember that. And this plastic or paper are laminated. Next is your stereolithography. So the stereolithography is another method which will help you to build your 3D models. It uses an apparatus that is called as stereolithograph. Always remember this apparatus does what? It converts your liquid plastic into solid objects. So here the material which is used is your liquid plastic, and using that liquid plastic you are going to make solid objects. Okay, so when I talk about stereolithography, it uses a UV laser, that is ultraviolet rays. It presses the every pattern of the layer, and accordingly it will develop the model. Okay, so as per the diagram, there is something called as XY scanning mirror, which will scan your object. The UV source is given, that is nothing but the laser source. There is something called as a tank, which is called as a resin tank, where your material is being placed. So the materials which is being placed is your liquid plastic, or other materials can also be placed. Okay, so with this liquid plastic, you are at each step you are analyzing it. That is nothing but UV curable resin, where at each step it is going to analyze the material. The layers which are already processed are called as a cured layers, and you can build the platform, like you can move the platform. If you want to move the object horizontally, vertically, you can do it. Okay, so that is your stereolithography. So important here is the material which is used here is plastic, and with this stereolithograph process your plastic is converted into solid objects. Next, last is your DLP, that is digital light processing. So again, you have to remember here that the material which is used here, with help you can create the resultant model, is your light. Okay, so it is again an adaptive process. So here you are going to create your solid parts or your 3D objects with the help of a light. Along with, there is something called as liquid resin. Okay, and this liquid resin consists of metal powders. Okay, so here the material which is used is your metal powders, and this metal powders are taking light. Okay, and with the help of the light, here they are developing the 3D objects, or you can say 3D model. Okay, so here we have a process where at each step we have, the first we have a digital projector. Okay, so this is nothing but a light source, DMD, that is digital projectors. Then we have lens and light in this digital projectors, which will help you to know the navigation from where the light beam is projected from the digital light projector. Next, we have resin tank, that is nothing but called as a vat as well. This is something, a transparent bottom you can see, where your light is projected by the digital light projector and it reaches. So with light, your objects are developed here. Remember here, okay? With lights and the material which you are going to insert into your resin tank, using this too, your model will be built. Okay, so here the material which is used is metal, and you can see the model is built on the build platform, which is in the Z axis. Okay, so that's it for the day. Thank you everyone. For the next lecture, we'll start with the next topic. Okay.